Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kati. I came to think of today that I don't think that I have made a video where I introduce myself on this channel. At least I don't remember if I have. So I thought I would talk a little bit about myself and let you know more about who I am. I am 53 years old. I live in Sweden, but I am Finnish. My parents moved here from Finland before I was born, so I'm born in Sweden and I have almost always lived here. But when I was a child, we went to see our relatives in Finland every summer for many weeks. My parents worked in a factory and they had 4 weeks holidays each summer. So that time we always spent in Finland at my grandparents and other relatives places. So, and when I was a child, I spoke only Finnish. Finnish is my first language, the first language that I learned. I think it was about maybe 4 or 5 when I started to learn Swedish. And today Swedish is the language that I know best. Because I don't use so much Finnish. It has got a bit rusty. And languages change, because we live in Sweden, we don't follow the changes as easily as if you would live in the country, in Finland, in this case. So Swedish is the language I know best, and I speak Finnish as well. I speak Finnish with my mom and my brother, and I have 3 children. My oldest kids know Finnish, they can speak Finnish and they understand Finnish, but my youngest child doesn't understand so much and can't speak Finnish. That's a pity, but that's how it is. Yeah, so, and I went to school here, and I have mostly worked in healthcare in different places, and that's what I do today as well. I work in healthcare, but I have worked in other areas as well. I have worked in factories, different factories. I have worked in an office with customer support for a couple of different companies. One big worldwide company, and then in the both cases I was mostly working with customers from Finland. So I have got to use my Finnish in my work as well. I like that. It's been fun. And I worked as a cleaner I have cleaned offices at a factory. I think that was maybe my first job after I finished school, so it's very, very long ago. And I have cleaned hotel rooms in another town. That's also more than 30 years ago, so it's a long time ago. Yeah, many different jobs. And I have also worked one summer in Finland in clothes store, children's clothes. And I have lived in England for about a year. I went to school first in Brighton, and that was for about 3.5 months. It was a Swedish folk high school in Portslade outside Brighton, and we lived in English families. That was a really good way to learn English. And when the school was finished after 3.5 months, I went to London to work as a community service volunteer. I lived in Shepherd's Bush and worked mostly in Hammersmith. And that was really interesting, and I learned a lot there. So yeah, about 1 year I spent in England, and at that time my English was quite okay. I could speak English almost fluently, but since that is a very long time ago, I think it was it 1991, 92, something like that, and I don't use English that much. I read English, I can write English, I understand English, I watch English videos, English programs, but it's more difficult to speak because I haven't spoken English for so many years. Only occasionally, very little. So my English is very rusty. I can feel it when I talk. I stumble upon words, and I have to think to find the right words. But maybe having this YouTube channel also can help in keeping or making my English get better. I don't know. I hope so. I will try. Yeah, so that is a little bit about what I have been doing, and now as I said, I work in the healthcare. I have been working today. I started at 7 o'clock this morning, and I have finished for the day now. Yeah, what else can I say? I have always been interested in photography. I got my first camera when I was maybe 7, something like that. I had a friend when I was a child, and her father always took photos. I think my interest for photography is partly because of him. I think so. So I have always had a camera. I always take photos. It's only in the recent years, the last few years, that I have also started to make videos. It started when I was watching videos, and then I started trying a bit myself, and it's fun. And what else? I knit. That is also something I have been doing almost all my life since I was a kid. I like knitting. I don't remember. I think it was my grandmother, my mother's mother, who taught me knitting. She used to knit. Maybe my father's mother as well. I can't remember. I'm not sure. But I like to knit. Sometimes I knit more, and sometimes there are periods that I don't knit so much. But I like knitting. Sometimes I crochet, but I'm not so good at that. I want to learn more about crocheting too. And I used to read a lot when I was younger, but now I don't have so much time to read. And I have always been interested in learning new languages. that's something I always have liked. So I speak Finnish, Swedish and English, and very little German. I have studied German for I think about 5 years in school. So I understand a little bit German, and I can speak a little German, not much. And I also understand a little bit of Albanian. That's, I think, another story. But I understand a little Albanian, and I can say a few words. It's always more difficult to speak the language. It's easier to understand the language, but when you have to speak it yourself, it's more difficult. And I studied Icelandic last summer, but I can't speak Icelandic, but I would like to learn Icelandic as well. I think it's fun with different languages. So that's why you might sometimes see, I like to make subtitles in both English and other languages, because I think it's so, I think it's fun with different languages. I like using different languages. Yeah, I can't think of if there is anything else. I'm interested in gardening as well. I would like to have a large vegetable garden. I would like to grow my own vegetables. I do that every spring and summer. I try, but not so much. I don't have so much time. But I would like to grow more in my garden as well. I also like to be out in the forest, in the nature. That's also something I have always liked, and I would like to go fishing more. It's many years since I have been out fishing on a lake, but that's also something I like. Yeah. But at the moment, my life is quite busy with work and house and everything. So I don't always have so much time to make videos, but I want to try to make more videos as well. So we'll see. But I thought I would introduce myself more, because I can't remember if I have told you these things about me, but you'll get to know more as time goes as well. Now I have to start making lunch. I'm getting hungry now. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again another time. Take care. Bye bye.